everyone. Welcome back to TC911 Beyond the Call, episode 14. I am your host, Abbey Dudek, the communications coordinator here at Tarrant County 911 District. And today I am sitting here talking with Danny Willars.
Hello.
He is our security guy.
Yes.
I wanted to say that because now everyone's thinking of some, when you go to concerts and there's always like the big dude with like the black t-shirt, it says security. Everyone's probably thinking of that right now.
Oh yeah, that's definitely me.
Isn't it though? So, Danny, before we continue even further, why don't you explain to everybody what your job title is and what you do here at Tarrant County 911 District?
Okay, so I am the security analyst for Tarrant County 911 District. So that entails monitoring the network. It entails looking over our administrative side of things, as well as the PSAP 911 side of things, and making sure everybody's aware of the risks, and also doing cybersecurity education with our staff, analyzing data, looking at network traffic, all kinds of things.
That sounds impressive. Especially the fact, now, as a staff member, I actually appreciate the cybersecurity stuff, and I've learned so much. Not only is it educational, but it also scares the bejesus out of you, too.
There's a little bit of a scare tactic with it, just to get people's attention.
You are winning on that. And that's not just for the 911 industry or the public safety industry. This is information that everyone should know, too.
Definitely.
So change your passwords. Don't give stuff out. Don't use public Wi-Fi's, right?
Try not to use public Wi-Fi unless you really have to, or if you have a good VPN service, make sure you turn that on, so that your traffic is being protected and being encrypted, and somebody can't just eavesdrop into the Wi-Fi to see what you're doing, where you're going, what you're up to.
An easy term of we don't want anybody hacking the 911 system, I guess would be the way that everybody thinks of that, or security breach of the 911 system, just like you would at Wells Fargo, that they had issues and that kind of stuff, because that can happen anywhere.
Right. So yeah, we definitely don't want to have a situation where 911 gets compromised. Definitely don't want our staff and our administration getting compromised. So we want to make sure everyone's protected. And I think the important thing is that whatever you guys learn regarding security is that it's also applicable at home and with your family and at school, with your own bank account. So whatever best practices you're learning here at work when we're doing our training, you can apply it at home.
And I do that. And for y'all at home that are listening, how are you being secure with your personal information? How are you, how many platforms do you have a credit card sitting on, or banking information, or stocks or something like that? And how many people are you emailing information to, or texting information, texting numbers? I actually have seen people text banking numbers to someone else, and I'm like, oh my gosh, don't do that. Yeah. Because they can get you there too. Yeah, due to Danny's efforts, I find myself, proficient. I'm graduating to my security knowledge, especially with phishing. Those emails, I get them a lot because of what I do here at the district, and I'll get I think I'm getting podcast ones.
So yeah, you're not talking about the phishing test that
not
we
the phishing.
send
No,
out.
this is
the actual phishing emails. Yeah.
Yes, I'm actually getting hook, line, and sinker.
So all of our staff. So if you're on any social media site, and that can be scraped. If you're on any website where your name, email, phone number is listed on there, there are sites for even the state, like our director and our finance manager are listed on there. Our HR person is listed on there. They will get emails targeted to them because, oh, look, that's public information. I see their name, I see their email, I see their phone number. I'll start texting them something. I'll email them something. So the same thing's happening to you. They're seeing that you're putting out their podcasts and you've got all kinds of information you're putting out there on social media. All right, so this is the person we need to talk to regarding social media. Let's send her fake Twitter login, send her a fake Facebook quick login. Talk to her about, downloading some software that we have. So hopefully that will get her to download it, execute it, and compromise her machine. And then we'll have access to 911, right? That's the end goal, is try to take things down, try to disrupt business.
But luckily, I've been educated by Mr. Danny here that doesn't happen. The videos are great. Every time I get my notification that I have training to do, I'm like, oh, it's time for another episode. So, Danny, how long have you been at the district?
I believe this is my 9th year.
Wow, 9 years.
So it'll be 9 years. It's coming up in the summer. It'll be 9 years.
Wow. 9 feels like longer, shorter?
It does feel long. I mean, this is just another job I've had within 911. So you and I both were call takers for a little bit there.
Yeah.
Short stint.
You were in Willars.
I did some part-time in Willars, and then I was at Netcom over in Keller.
Because I forgot about that. Because you and I think, had when we went to Willars, God,
we were there at the same time.
We were there at the same time.
But different shifts, so I never saw you there.
Yeah, different shifts. But when we first got hired, I think we went to the city to go get our hiring stuff. We did something.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was you.
That was so long ago.
Yeah, that was like 2014.
That was a while back.
Yeah, that was a hop, just skip and jump away.
Mm-hmm.
So so you worked at Keller 911 and then part-time at Lewis. What did you do prior to 911?
So prior to 911, I worked for PayPal. So I started my technical career at PayPal because there's where I've learned to code. I was talking to the other guys in our IT network team about that earlier today, is that my introduction into HTML, JavaScript, PHP, Perl, ASP, all those scripting languages, I started at PayPal working as a technology support, taking calls from developers and then wanting help with adding shopping cart buttons and other features that PayPal had for merchants to add to their websites. So from there, I went on to being a business analyst at PayPal, and then left there, came back to Texas, and then went to go work for Keller.
And then you saw this job open up?
Yeah. So there was an opportunity to apply for a networking position here as a network specialist, working for Monty, and I applied for it, and kind of talked about. I remember my job interview. Monty and Kevin, and I want to say Yvonne was in there, and one of the tasks they had me do was to draw up my home network. That's what Kevin said. And use the whiteboard, use any color of dry erase marker that we have up there. So I drew, my house, and I drew kind of like the whole area around the house, and I drew the pylon where the cable was set up, like in the back corner of the backyard, and just drew a cable coming down from there to the house, and explained, okay, and then from there it comes in the house over coax cable to the router, and then there's Wi-Fi access points, and kind of how I got everything set up in the house. And I guess that was impressive enough for them that they said, all right, he's our guy.
You knew your mapping of your house.
I could draw. But I only used black. I didn't use all the other colors. Oh,
that's okay. So they got the point, though. Clearly, you've been here, and now you're almost here a decade.
Yeah.
A decade. Now, pretty soon you'll be like, I've been there a decade.
10 years, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Did you get anything at 10 years? Do we get like a pen or something? You know how some jobs will do I
don't know. I have so many things right now. Umbrella, a pen, a jacket, a shirt.
And I'm going to give you guys a cup, too.
I think we've had quite a few cups.
Well, this is the new one for this year.
Okay.
So I'm just saying.
Does it say new cup?
It says new cup by Tarrant County 911 District. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Great. Happy new cup.
Yeah, new cup. So, well, wow. I didn't know that you worked at PayPal. I don't use PayPal that much anymore. I used to, but I don't use it that much.
I still use it, and they own Venmo, and there's a lot of competitors out there now. But
yeah, Venmo and Zelle.
Zelle's through banking, yeah.
And so, I still use those. And what was the life prior to that?
Some school, worked in retail. There's just, that's way back. That's a ways back, and that's kind of hard to... I'm old now.
Come on. I knew you were going to go there. And you're like, Abby, I can't remember that far.
I can't remember that.
Oh, come on. No, but that's great. And that's what a nice kind of like snowball effect to go into your career here at the district is, working at PayPal, doing the technology there, and then going into 911, learning that, and then fusing those together. So that's kind of a great handshake to go into. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, I have graphic design, I have, public relations, and then I went to go be a dispatcher, and then, okay, here we go. We kind of have the same story, Danny.
Yeah. I mean, our career path kind of led us to where we are today. I've taken knowledge from PayPal, the technical side of it, and even the risk side of it, and then came to 911, learned the back end of 911, the call taking, dispatching, learning to have, multiple ears. You can listen to everything going on. And then came here, got introduced to networking, got a few more computer skills under my belt, cybersecurity. And then I now use some of those same skills, monitor the network, watch for things going on, listen to, even in our NOC area, Network Operations Center.
Thank you. Everybody's like, the what area?
I think we said PSAP, Public Safety Answering Point.
Oh, yeah, and we're not a PSAP, so yeah, we got to say what the NOC is. It's Danny's work area with all of his team there.
IT, network security. So, yeah, I mean, just kind of, I keep my ears open, all my ears open now to say, okay, what's everybody talking about? Because maybe it doesn't directly impact what I'm doing right there at the moment. They may say something or mention something going on or alert they saw, and I may have to go, could that be something that I need to be aware of? Or could there be another log or alert or something that may be related to it? Oftentimes not, but there is a chance that it could. So we need to be able to kind of track it down and to kind of explain. One of the things I do is, like, when you receive a phishing email and you report it, it goes to be examined, analyzed, and then I get an alert as well where I'll go create an incident and kind of follow up on that and go, okay, who's the sender? What's the IP address? What country did it come from? Was there an attachment? Was there a link embedded in the email, or something else malicious going on? And I'll investigate the attachment. I'll investigate the link, see where it goes to. Were they trying to steal credentials? Were they trying to get you to download software or some other type of exe or batch file of some sort? And then from there, if it seems to be malicious, then I'll build intelligence or filters around it to say, okay, if we see something like this again and it has the same markings as this, let's just block it so that it doesn't not just come back to you, but come back to anybody else on staff. There's a lot of kind of follow through, and then reporting it to, okay, whoever sent the email, whoever's hosting the site that has the malicious code, or whoever may be able to also create filtering or have a way to block it. So it's not just us that benefits from going out there and finding these things, finding the bad emails and finding the bad links. That's also shared. There's multiple agencies that share threat intelligence. The MSISAC, Multi-State Information Sharing and Analysis Center, that's one of them. DIR Texas, they also have threat intelligence. And then all the big brand companies like IBM, AT&T, Apple, they all have threat intelligence teams that when you report these things, then they take it back to their products or their applications and they say, okay, if we see signatures of this, or we see attributes that match any of this, then we're also going to block what's been observed out there, what they say in the wild.
So just after clicking that button, that's all the stuff that happens behind the scenes there, which is, I mean, that's good. That's good. So I appreciate what you do. And I know the district definitely appreciates what you do because it keeps us out of,
It's a daily battle. I mean, it's not just, okay, we have a firewall in place, so we're good, right? No. We have spam filters or mail filters in place, so we're good, right? No. That has to be constantly tweaked and analyzed, and we have to make sure that those applications, those devices, those network devices that we have in place, we need to make sure that they're doing their job and that they're still up to date. Kind of like what we also send out to staff is, hey, make sure you guys reboot your computers, reboot your phones, make sure the software updates and device updates get applied. We have to do the same thing with the security appliances that we have in place as well. Apply updates, apply additional content filtering, and etc.
Again, this is how we're doing our security here at Tarrant County 911, and this information is vital to other organizations, businesses, and your own personal, things. You have to be really careful on what you do out there in internet land and what you're doing. And I know everybody pays bills that way. Nobody really pays, gets paper bills much anymore, and everything's paid online or over the phone or whatever, how people take care of stuff now. And yeah, it's definitely been a learning lesson for me in different aspects too. I'm just like, okay.
So do you use your same password on your bank account that you do on your social media?
No, I do not. No.
Would you have done that maybe 10 years ago?
I probably would have done that like 4 years ago. I mean, to be honest, no, but I've changed. I monthly change all of our stuff, everything I do here at the district, and then all of the stuff I have personally too. But it's because of, the education and everything that you get, and you start realizing like, oh my gosh, this is actually, yeah. And
I've changed too. I'm still learning. I mean, just as much as everybody else. Things don't stay static. They're constantly changing. The threats out there, the way that they're manipulating data, manipulating devices, the entry points that they have, that's constantly being updated. And sometimes they go back and use old methods of trying to infiltrate systems or get credentials. Yeah. So even like you said, 10 years ago, my passwords probably were all very similar. Mm-hmm. And just, change a character here or add a number at the end and just, okay, now it's password 1, password 2, password 3. Those things you can't do anymore because the bad guys are going to, once they find that you have a credential, and everybody has a username and password that's been stolen. It's already out there and they're on lists, and you can find them on what you want to call the dark web, the deep web. You can find these, what they call rainbow tables. They will say, oh, okay, here's a password that Abbey used back on this social media site 4 or 5 years ago. You know what? Let's see if she uses it on the current social media site that she's using now. They'll try to access using your login from wherever they're at. And okay, well, that didn't work. Well, she had a number at the end. Let's increment it by 1, and we'll keep trying it until they get it. Oh, it's a year, 2022. Let's change it to 2023. Now it worked. Mm-hmm. So they recognize patterns, and they have automated systems now too that will try the same thing. They don't have to have somebody sitting there at the keyboard trying to brute force your password. They can just go, here you go, automate it, try every combination you can find, and do it backwards, forward. I mean, you think, okay, if I just type this in backwards, they'll never guess it. No, they have a system to do that. They've automated it.
So you heard it here, folks. Change your passwords and make it completely wonky.
Use a password manager and let it create a password for you.
We use a password manager here at the office, and I love it. I mean, it's so helpful. It keeps everything secure, and you just, you got everything in one little basket there, but you have your different passwords for stuff. And it's just, and plus too, like I said, the education that's given from you as a security person it reminds you like, okay, you know what? I'm going to change this. Or if you'll be like, hey, this has been going on. Because Danny also gives us updates via email of maybe a story that's going on or something that's breaking in the news for anything that's obviously security related, for personal information. And even, it's not just work related stuff. It'll be like, hey, if you guys use this bank or that bank, just heads up. That's great information, because then that right there should be a bell that goes off in your head that says, hey, you know what? This is a sign. I'm going to go ahead and change this password, or I'm just going to call and see how things are going.
Yeah, there's always some business, some manufacturer, some developer, some company that's having a new breach. And I think, so I can say this one because it's public out there, T-Mobile has been breached numerous times just over the past 4 years. So one of the emails I've sent out to staff before is, all right, guys, so you T-Mobile users just know that whatever username, password, whatever credit card you had on that site, that's now been compromised. It's known. So go change your credit card number, go change your passwords, and don't use that password or anything similar anyplace else.
Yeah, and that's happened to me twice. One was with the city I lived in.
There was a water
department. The water department that got compromised.
Yep.
And so I immediately went in, removed like all of my payment stuff, and was like, okay, we're just going to hang out and do the old school way until that happens, until that gets fixed. And then Wells Fargo was publicly published about, or it was put out there that they had a few years back that they had issues. And I was like, okay, I got to change all that, order new stuff.
Yeah.
So
and sometimes it's like even the apps on your phone or the applications you have on your computer. MyFitnessPal. That one was compromised, I think, more than once. So,
wait, MyFitnessPal? I'm grabbing my phone. delete. I got to see it because I don't think I use that one. No, I use Samsung Fitness. I don't use MyFitnessPal, but it sounded really familiar.
Yeah, so MyFitnessPal, I don't remember who develops it, but that was compromised a ways back. Same thing. If whatever username, email, password you're using on there, remove it off there, and then don't use that password anyplace else. And just know that your information's out there already, just like the credit bureaus. Okay, We've had breaches of the credit bureau, so you know your social security number is out there. You know your name and address is out there, and people think, okay, what's someone going to do with that? What are they going to do with my social security number? Try to go get credit in your name, right? But what else could they do with that information if they know how much money you owe to creditors? They may go, oh, you know what? Abby's in financial disarray because she has all this debt. Let's contact her and see if maybe she wants to do something for us, and we'll offer to give her a bunch of money if she would just, add this software to the systems at Tarrant County 911. Mm-hmm. Just put this USB device in your computer.
Why can't they do good things? Like say, you know what? If you can ring up my credit card, why can't you just set it to 0?
Reset.
Why can't you just be a good cyber bad person or whatever and be like, I'm gonna wipe out everyone's debt.
What is that, like Robin Hood?
Yeah.
Like be the Robin Hood?
Yeah, be the Robin Hood of
hacker.
cyber things. Like, why can't you do that? Like when I was still paying on my student loans, why couldn't you just set it to 0?
Reset.
Just reset. It just reset back to 0.
Wasn't that like the premise of like Fight Club also at the end of it? Weren't they like going to blow up all the credit agencies or the credit card company because they were going to try to wipe out everybody's debt? You're going to have to go back and look at the movie.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I do know you're not supposed to talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
So why are we talking about it? Great.
Let's delete that out of this.
Yeah, we got to delete it. We got to edit this out. But yeah, why can't they do that and do something like, oh, hey, But now, any creditor that's listening to this podcast is probably like, no. So.
Or why can't they go reset your passwords for you? Because, that's a pain, having to go change all your passwords.
You know what? They would actually probably make an honest living of being like, hey, what's your job? Well, I used to be a hacker, but now I get paid in good terms of just changing people's passwords for them. What a nice thing, and then people really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then after a while, they all turn good and they don't do that anymore. And they just help people change passwords and then we don't need them.
There have been attempts because of the credit bureau breaches. There have been attempts by some what they would call white hat hackers. So white hats usually are people that try to do good, even though they have a lot of knowledge about internal processes and stuff. They try to do well, or kind of like one of my certifications is a certified ethical hacker. So even though I know how to do bad things, or I know how necessarily bad actors are getting into systems, I use that knowledge to help defend systems. But there have been people that have reached out to persons to say, you know what, your information is out there on the web, and they've tried to reach out to them, and it's usually not accepted very well. You get the call that says, oh, hey, Mrs. Collins, I see that you live at this address and you have these kids. Your dog's name is this. I also see your credit card information and all your passwords. Click. They're trying to sell them on being more secure, but once they hear that their information's out there, they don't even want to talk to the person that is trying to explain it to them.
So it's like you're a Sour Patch Kid. You're sour and then you're sweet. You did bad things, but then you're trying to make up for it and be good.
They got the sour, then they spit it right out. And
It's like just trying to be sweet now.
I guess so.
I guess so. Well, now I'm like, you know what? See, now even this conversation, I'm like, I'm gonna go and check all my stuff again to make sure that we're okay. To make sure
your password regularly.
Yeah, that I always do now too. And if you make it fun, it's I always say fun. I know, and you're giving me this squinty eye. Like, what do you mean fun? Like, I mix different things up to make it fun, and I still remember it because it makes me laugh. Yeah, it's just my own Abbey way of just being secure.
Okay.
Good job, Abby. Good job. That's awesome. Well, Danny, thank you so much for talking to us. Do you have any words of wisdom to leave the public with besides change your passwords?
Change your password. I mean, don't leave your information out there. I mean, like if you have stuff that's out there, like your phone number, email address that's on your social media, if you have information about things that they can use to try to figure out what your passwords are, like password hints. Oh, what college did you go to? What street did you grow up on? That kind of information. Don't pit the things that they're asking for. So like a password hint that says, tell me your mother's maiden name. Use something else. I like green, the color green. And then put that in your password manager. Just say, oh, for the password hint of mother's last name, I put green. For the password hint of dog's name, I put cell phone Sally. Don't use that one. For the password hint of what was your high school mascot, put
a bear.
A bear.
I didn't have
Cyber. Put cyber.
I
like
see what you're doing. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good information. That is good information. One thing I thought about too before we go is I've also heard, when you go on Facebook and it'll say there'll be some, I don't even know if it's a company, I don't know what it is, but they'll be like, oh, name your this or that, or what year you were born, or show the favorite movie from your favorite year. I have heard that those are like they're getting information off of that because you already have your name and now you're telling them what year you were born or any other information. And I've been telling people, don't do those.
That's another form of phishing. So they'll have a questionnaire or they'll send you a survey and say, oh, fill out the survey, we'll give you $50 in return. Same thing. They're trying to social engineer you to get that information, and they'll try to use that to send you a malicious email, or they'll try to use it to get to that password hint, or set up credit, like we were saying a while ago. Try to go set up credit using that information.
Yeah, because that's a big thing. Because I know a lot of people out there. I see it on social media, and that you'll see those in the feed, and you'll see they'll use some colorful post, and they'll be like, oh, what was the popular movie of the year you were born? It seems innocent, but they're getting information off of that, or it'll be something else. Like, what was popular the year you graduated high school, and so you're given the year you graduated high school, which I'm sure, like, based on what you're telling me, Danny, I mean, they can find so much stuff just off of little information with all of the technology that they have on their side. So, so don't answer those. If you want to answer them so bad, take a screenshot of that, put it on your own page, and then have your friends answer it. Don't go off of their page, So, yeah, that's a lot of things. But yeah, I was just thinking of that as we were talking about that. So before we left, I wanted to make sure that you clarified that. Yeah, that's a no-no too.
Yeah, there's all kinds of cybersecurity related stuff we can go into, but there's so many different facets of it that, I mean,
I don't want to scare everyone.
Yeah.
I don't want to scare everyone, but they, sometimes you should be a little
I was afraid of boring everybody with cybersecurity.
No, this has been exciting. This is exciting. Don't tell anybody else. This is a really exciting podcast. Like, they're not going to hear this. No, it was.
You should listen to this. Yes.
You should listen to this podcast. So, Danny, I really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy and everything, and I appreciate what you do here at the district and for our 911 system in general and keeping the 911 system safe.
I appreciate it.
Well, not a problem. And everyone, thank you so much for listening today. Join us next Monday. We have all new podcasts every Monday, and I hope that you have a fabulous week.